Good morning. How are you doing? How are y'all doing? It's going to be a fiery, fast next few days for sure. The theme of this astrological video is the story of Icarus. And that's a Greek mythology story about Icarus and Daedalus, his father, who were imprisoned, and they created wings out of feathers and wax to fly up and free themselves out of the prison. And the one stipulation was that the father told Icarus, do not fly too close to the sun or you will melt your wings and fall back down. Well, Icarus was feeling so good with all the energy and freedom that he flew too high to the sun without looking and thinking about it, and his wings melted and he fell into the ocean where he drowned. So, that's in a nutshell. That's the energy for the next 5-6 days. Okay, so starting today around 2:15 to 2:30, the North Node will be going direct. It will no longer be retrograde until it goes back retrograde on next Monday, early in the morning. So for the next 5.5 to 6 days, we're going to have just an energy burst where there's a lot of freedom, lots of movement, which is why I brought up the story of Icarus. As you are allowed the restrictions to be lifted on energetic forward movement of projects, your own personal life, relationships, restrictions are lifted by the planets and everything going direct, including Chiron. You'll feel very energetic and you'll feel fast moving and nervous energy. So you don't want to trip yourself up because there's 5 planets that includes Chiron in Aries. And Aries is a cardinal sign that is it rules Mars, which is about war and chaos. And we can't really do anything unless there's a little bit of war and chaos, usually within our own selves, to get things motivated, to get things moving. Now, I'm not talking about war on the big scheme of things. I'm talking about war and chaos within ourselves that actually create change. So Aries has its place in the zodiac as far as creating that chaos that prompts us to change and to move forward and to get things done. So that's the energy that's up on us right now. And so we've got the sun, which is within 1 degree conjunction of Saturn in Aries. And that's about, change and restrictions lifted, moving forward. It's also very profound as far as karmic lessons are concerned. Lots of profound things may come out this week, things you may be shocked about, even on the big scheme of things that have seemed smoothed over, all of a sudden are not smoothed over anymore. So there's the karmic lesson that comes right in and says, we're going to give you this other chance, so let's do it once and for all. The Sun and Saturn in Aries highlights new beginnings. It also is about self-reflection and goals and responsibilities and just getting things done. This is a profound karmic lesson that is being brought to us, and that is about taking this time to actually move forward and get things done, but do it in the right way. That means to have direction, have purpose. That means to move with purpose. Not to just go running hither and thither and just trip all over yourself because you're feeling the energy that you haven't felt in a long time. You have to be careful of that. So when you use this energetic time, you can get a lot done if you use this energy with purpose and intent and not just craziness and chaos. So there is some goodness in that Aries chaos and driving force, but it's with purpose. And Saturn is with bringing in that purpose with lessons and with lessons and karmic things that are to be cleared up. So it's got a purpose for it all. And this is the time for that. Venus is also in Aries right now. So, this might be baby making time for a lot of people. And if you're not in the mode of baby making, then you might want to use precautions in your heated moments. It's also a time for, people will be wearing the beer bottle goggles, and you got to be careful what you get yourself into at times. Have fun and use that energy, but don't let yourself go crazy with it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very pioneering. It's very forward moving. And we know that Aries rules pioneering energy, which is into the unknown. So you can use this energy to take yourself into like if you're trying to drive your business, you're trying to go into the next level. This is the time to just drive it forward. Let's get it out there. Keep driving. You may be out there on the prairie. Let's keep driving. Let's get it somewhere. You may have been in a stagnant place for a while. Let's drive it and let's get somewhere. It's not stagnant at this time. It's moving. But, when you've been stagnant for a long time and then the energy hits, people do go crazy and they just run blindly. And we don't want to be running around with scissors, and we don't want to fly too close to the sun and melt our wings. But we do want to fly. That's what this is about. We want to fly, but we want to fly with purpose so that we don't destroy all that we're working for during this energetic time. The moon is in Cancer right now, and that's sensitive and nurturing and loving. So it allows for that softness to be used with all this driving energy to make your points, to get the word out, to say what you need to say, to be listened and heard, to be listened to and heard, and it's a loving time as well, but very free right now. And the moon will be moving into Leo on the 28th, and that pairs up real nicely with that Aries energy because Leo is a fixed fire sign. So then you have even extra drive by Saturday, but that fixed fire can also solidify. That may be when you start to slow it all down and say, okay, I've got where I need to go, and this is a good place. I'm going to rest in this place for a while. So, that's also a factor in this as well. You'll get to that place, you'll be driven to that place, and then you get to a good place and you can stop. You don't have to keep going past the point of no return. Otherwise, it's just a misuse of energy. You don't want to drive the herd over the edge of the cliff. You want to drive it into the corral, where you corral that energy and you make something of it. So that's the kind of the visual I'm trying to portray here. And we've got 2 planets in Cancer right now. And with Pisces, with North Node, we've got 3. So there's only 2 fixed planets at this time until Saturday, which Leo is then a fixed sign in fire. Uranus is in Taurus. So this is a good time to really get those home projects done. You'll have a lot of energy. Clean out that attic. Let's get it done. Let's clean up that yard. Let's plant those gardens. Working to get things done at home, so that Uranus and Taurus is good for that, paired up with this energy. And then you've got Pluto, which is in in Aquarius, and Pluto is out there in the future. So we want to drive home to a good place our ideas, our creative endeavors, our goals, our all the things that we're trying to get done. So we want to drive it home during this time. But then once it gets home, let it settle and don't drive it over the edge. That's what I'm trying to say with this fiery energy. You don't want to drive it over the edge. Otherwise, it's a misuse of energy. And, with that, Saturn brings in those karmic lessons. That might be your lesson, that you have tripped yourself up over in the past and going too fast, and then you missed the mark and you had to go back and start all over. So that might be your lesson, and that is why it's highlighted, the Sun and Saturn, and the conjunction with separated by 1 degree in this fiery sign of Aries. And Aries is always about the new beginnings. Aries rules the head. So you might find yourself having headaches. You may feel you might feel lightheaded. You might feel you might even feel your heart racing at times because things are going so fast. But Aries rules the head, and you want to make sure that you don't trip yourself up with your words as well, because that can happen for sure. There's really not much opposition out there. The sun is, I'm sorry, I think it's the moon that's in opposition to, let me look here on my ephemeris, is in opposition to Pluto, which really isn't a big deal. Let's see here. Yeah, the moon is in opposition to Pluto, so that's just for the next couple of days. You just might be finding that you're sentimental, and also you might be feeling a little bit trepidatious about things emotionally that are going to be coming. It could be about the new job that you just took on. You don't want your emotions to get ahead of you and project something that's really not going to happen. So with that Cancer moon right now, until it moves into Leo in opposition to Aquarius, Pluto, which is matter of fact and mental and thoughtful. You don't want your thoughts to trip you up with all this fiery energy that's going on right now. So that's where this is leading to. There's quite a bit of positive trine energy in the background there on the mundane wheel when I brought it up on the ephemeris on my phone. But the main focus here is that the restrictions are lifted for the next 5 days. And what you do with those 5 days can set the tone for the next few years. So it's very important. Also, on the outside of us, with what's going on in the world, with war and the disruption in the political arena, nobody really knows anything anymore. It's all a big movie that seems to be running, that you don't want to be a pawn on the chessboard. You can play your own game of life. I would get off the chessboard and not be a pawn for any side or any camp at this point, because we really don't know what the truth is that's being presented to us. No one really knows, and probably never will, unless you are actually living in those places where the supposed war is happening. Now, I'm not saying that there's not truth to all this, but I'm just saying we don't really know the full extent. And my message here is that now is a good time to remove yourself from the chessboard. If you've been a pawn on the chessboard and you've just been flung from place to place and you don't know where the next move is, you don't need to be on that chessboard. That chessboard is not positive for you in your life. The positive for you in your life is to play your own game of life and play it how you wish it and want it, and work that with your own higher self and whatever your higher power is. And no one can take that away from you. But the next 5 or 6 days could be very spiritual as well. Could be very spiritually enlightening and eye-opening, and a lot of truths come out of the recess of the darkness. Lots of things are highlighted, and I think that it's a good time to take those steps in a methodical way and get somewhere. Get somewhere that's meaningful. Get somewhere that will be purposeful and meaningful for your future. That's what these next 5 days could bring in. So make your notes and Bring your dreams to fruition. Talk about them with people. Don't be afraid to talk about your dreams. Don't be afraid to talk about your ideals and what it is you're trying to accomplish. Bring it out. Bring it out into the unified field so that it can come to be brought to reality and manifest. So these next 5-6 days, don't waste that energy. It's very positive energy, and it's a good time for healing as well on the physical. So it's a good time for healing in other areas as well, but a good physically healing time to get out in nature and just commune. Commune with nature, commune with your higher power, and set those goals. And even when the North Node goes back retrograde on Monday, the planets are still lined up for you. That North Node going retrograde back into Pisces just brings back that that energy of emotional, dreamy, spiritual quality. So it can actually solidify even more what it is you do in these next 5 or 6 days. So use that energy and let's get going. Have a wonderful day, a great week ahead. I love you all very much, and let's do it.